Yeah, all three fillies worked this morning. Wet paint worked outside of the Alice look. Very good move. They broke off the 4.5. I had the Alice look in a minute and 3/5. I'd give wet paint probably a minute and one. Good gallop out. They galloped out 7/8 and 27. Good move. It was our main move. We'll have good work next week as well, but I was looking really to do something with them this morning, and I feel like we got accomplished what we needed to. Came back to the barn. They both looked great. Set following that, we had Flashy Jim with Botanical outside of her. They broke off together from the 4.5. They were a minute one, 13 flat, 127 for the 7/8. So super happy with all four fillies. Obviously Flashy Jim's doesn't have enough points to compete in the Oaks, but the other three fillies all look like they came back great so far, and very productive morning.
Wet paint's been one of the most consistent fillies of the crop this year. Can you just talk a little bit about where she stands kind of coming into this race?
Well, I guess she's a leader with most points right now, and we'll go into the Oaks that way. She's just, like you said, been very, very consistent. I think there was some speculation as to if she would like a dry track. She showed that in the fantasy. I thought her run in the fantasy was a very, very good race. Finished up well. Flavian come back and said, wow, she's got some turn of foot. She showed that on a wet track and a fast track. So, look, if it comes up wet, she can handle it. She'll take mud in her face, dirt in her face, and finish up well. So, looking forward to the first Friday in May.
And then how about Botanical? I mean, she's obviously done her running at Turfway, but just on numbers, she's one of the faster fillies in this crop.
Yeah, she is. We worked her a couple times since, and this morning we were really wanting to kind of press on her a little bit and see how she responded. The filly she worked with, Flashy Jim, is a very, very good workhorse. And she was right with her the whole way. So this move to me, this was probably the most important move to me this morning, just kind of to figure out where we were with her. And I love what I saw from her. Chris Landeros Breezer, he's been riding her on a regular basis throughout the winter, and loved the way she felt and how she traveled and how she galloped out. So she's one that's obviously a little bit more forwardly placed, especially going a mile and an eighth, and I expect her to run well. If she runs the way she breathes this morning, she's a contender for sure.
What's plan B for Flashy Jim if she doesn't get in the Oaks?
We have her nom to the Edgewood on the grass. She started out on the grass. She obviously transferred her form over to synthetic, but at some point, if the right race come up, we may try her on the dirt. But very happy with what we've seen from her since her layoff. She's won a first level allowance and a good time off the layoff, and then was second to Botanical last time.
This really feels like just this Oaks class, the way the fillies have developed is so interesting, because you have some of kind of the big names we were talking about as 2-year-olds excluded at the moment, and we've really had a lot of later developing fillies like Wet Paint, like Botanical, earning their way in on their merits this spring. Can you talk just a little bit about the makeup of the field and the way this filly season has kind of played out?
Yeah, it is a little, it may be a little bit different than in the past. It seems like the Julia Shinings and Wonder Wheels, the fillies that are a little more accomplished this last fall, early this year, were right now they're on the outside. Hoosier fillies, they're on the outside looking in, and we have a really good filly punch bowl that's the second in the Ashland. It's once again, she's on the outside looking in, but I think it's a good group of fillies. But these point races obviously are very important if you're have intent on trying to make the Oaks or the Derby.
Wet Paint, she's not saying she's in the class of mono boy girl yet, but she has kind of a similar pattern of started off on turf, went to Indy and everything like that. What type of intangibles are you seeing from her that maybe you've seen in some of your past Oaks winners like Monomoy and she Dares the Devils?
She passes all the tests you really throw at her, to be honest with you. I mean, she's not undefeated or anything, but she always shows up and runs. Her first race was a throwout, but other than that, she's stepped up to the plate. She'll run on anything. She's performed well in the synthetic before she took off to Oaklawn this winter. So, she's exactly. You don't have to make an excuse for her, and that's what you find. That's what I find with most good horses. They don't need excuses. They overcome pretty much everything.
Was that first race just a case of just trying to get her started, or?
It was, and we expected something out of her. I liked her that day at Kentucky Downs. just didn't work out. And halfway down the backside in her second race at Indiana Downs, I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to do with this filly? She just doesn't want to be involved at all. We liked her at Indiana leading up to that race as well, just the way she trained. But to be honest with you, halfway through the race, I was like, wow, she's really not picking up. And then she just took off, and she's kind of continued to do so, throughout this winter and spring.